Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the king. Welcome back to the channel. Dead by Daylight 4.1.1 bug fix is currently out. This has just hit us. Patricia has posted this lovely post for us to read. We're gonna jump straight on into it, talk about all of the changes. There's quite a few. I wasn't originally going to cover this because it is a bug fix, and normally we don't get too much bug fixes and changes in this. But in this one, we got quite a lot. So we're going to jump on straight into this. If you enjoyed the video at any point, make sure to leave a like down below. Subscribe for some more daily Dead by Daylight content. In addition, we are nearing 100,000 subscribers. So please consider subscribing. And yeah, with that being said, let's talk about these changes. Alrighty. So first of all, as you guys know, the auras have been bugged. They don't look the best. Luckily, we have a update to that. So updated auras. Patch 4.1.0 introduced a brand new aura system with new aura visuals. While we received positive feedback regarding their style, the consensus seems to be that they were not significantly visible, especially for small objects, at long range, or in bright environments. In light of this, we have temporarily replaced the new auras with a different type that should be much easier to see, especially further aura improvements in future releases. So we can see the aura being changed later on. Auras are pretty much back to normal. They've been adjusted, so you guys don't need to suffer from those tiny auras anymore, which is great. Now we have a lot of balancing, like a lot of balancing. So they said, following the 4.10 PTB, it became clear that some of the add-ons for both the Cannibal and the Hillbilly needed further reworking. In this update, we addressed those add-ons as well as pull back on some rebalancing changes that were too aggressive. We're looking at you, Engravings. Alrighty, so here we go. The Cannibal changes. Initially, the Primer Bulb and Spark Plug add-ons sought to introduce a playstyle that revolved around going into Tantrum and using a speed increase to catch up with unsuspecting survivors. In practice, the speed increase was too low for that playstyle to be worthwhile. Now the Primer Bulb and Spark Plug add-ons will now increase rate at which chainsaw charges replenish, providing a clearer advantage. So Spark Plug slightly increases the rate at which charges replenish, and Primer Bulb moderately increases the rate at what charges replenish, which is great. Next up, we have Long Guide Bar and the Grease add-ons to increase the maximum rev before triggering a Tantrum. This means you have more vulnerability around loops while revving your chainsaw. Long Guide Bar slightly increases the amount of revving available before triggering a Tantrum, and upgraded rarity to uncommon from common. Next up is the Grease, moderately increases the amount of revving available before triggering a Tantrum. And then they said, furthermore, we've reassessed our previous nerfs of the Knife, Scratches, and Beast Mark add-ons. They were slightly nerfed because of the Cannibal's charges, but we might have been too hard on them, especially considering the Tantrum meter builds up while revving. This meant you'd almost always be 99% Tantrum, and the slightest mistake forced you to go through Tantrum. So, Knife Scratches reverted the change time penalty to -12, increased the movement speed bonus to +2. And for Beast Marks, reverted the charge time penalty to -12 and increased the moving speed bonus to 3. So that's really awesome. Next on this list are two add-ons that were giving unnecessary downsides. Hopefully removing them will make the add-on worthy of their rarity and will be more useful. The first one is Light Chases, and they removed the speed decrease while revving. And the next is Carburetor Tuning Guide. Remove the increased recharge rate on chainsaw charges. I'm telling you now, Carburetor Tuning Guide is going to be godly. I can't wait to see what it does. Next up, we've updated Speed Limiter to grant you even more blood points on chainsaw hits, and we've lowered its rarity so it can be available more often. So Speed Limiter, you have 100% more blood points for chainsaw score events, updated rarity to common from uncommon. So those are pretty much all of the Leatherface changes that we're going to be receiving. Not too bad. A lot of the add-ons have been reworked, as they mentioned that they are going to be doing that, and thankfully, we now see all of those reworked stuff for Leatherface. And of course, we have a lot of Hillbilly stuff as well, and then all the bug changes. So let's get on into the Hillbilly changes. They said, with this update, we tried making add-ons with new and interesting effects. However, during the PTB, it became clear we needed to revisit some of these add-ons to better accomplish our goals. So here are the changes. Black Grease was inspired by the Hillbilly's perk Enduring. It used to increase immunity to blindness after being stunned by a pallet. We weren't happy with how it turned out, and have come up with a brand new effect inspired by Lightborn, which should provide an obvious advantage that fits right in with the new overheat mechanic. Moderately increases the chainsaw rate of cooling when a flashlight is shining on you. So if you are being shined by a flashlight and you're playing Hillbilly, it will help you in your recharge rate of cooling. -5 charges per second for those of you guys who love numbers. I do love numbers, so now we actually have, as you know, the entire chainsaw is 100. It's gonna go -5, so that's pretty nice. Mother's Helper, which wasn't one of the best add-ons at all. Mother's Helper was inspired by the Hillbilly's perk Lightborn. It was used to increase your movement speed while a flashlight was shining on you. Unfortunately, flashlighting most often occurs while locked into animation, so players would usually not be able to make use of the speed boost. This new version is inspired by Enduring and should be interesting for fans of old charge speed add-ons. Ooh, I already like where this is going. Slightly decreases the charge time for 30 seconds after being stunned by a pallet. 12% same as old Sparkplug. That, my friends, is a nice add-on. You now have, you know, if anybody decides to drop a pallet on you, you can quickly just break it with your chainsaw or use the 30 seconds in order to catch up to the survivor, use your chainsaw, knock him down. Very lovely, Mother's Helper. That is probably going to be one of the best perks for Hillbillies, unless there's anything else that has changed that. Low Pro chains share the downside for speed limiter, but the upside wasn't enough to justify its rarity. We've updated it so it only deals a single health state for a short period after breaking a pallet or wall. We've also changed its rarity from ultra rare to very rare. Wow, so what's going to be ultra rare now? We'll have to wait and see. Survivors hit with the chainsaw within 5 seconds of breaking a pallet or wall are damaged for a single health state, updated rarity to very rare instead of ultra rare. I agree with these changes. I think if anything needed to be an ultra rare, it would have been that you can still hit players through with the chainsaw through the pallet and get them down 1 health state, but if you hit them normally, they would still go down. Not sure how the coding and stuff would work with that, but I thought that would have made a nice ultra rare and they could have buffed it. But let's see what's the ultra rare. Apex Muffler can enable some very strong builds. Because of that, we're increasing its rarity to ultra rare. We'll continue to monitor this add-on closely. Apex Muffler was one of the only add-ons that I really liked on the Hillbilly. I combined that with basically the turning add-ons, the Rabbit's Foot, I believe, so we'll see how it goes. Dad's Boots, updated rarity to uncommon from common, okay. Death Engraving. The initial nerf to both engraving add-ons was an unfortunate mistake. Additionally, seeing that the overheat mechanic in action, the engravings add-ons were much too punishing. We have reverted them from their previous versions. We will continue to monitor these add-ons closely. Reverted the charge time penalty to -12, reverted the movement speed increase to +15. Love to see it. And Doom Engravings, same thing, except movement speed to +20. Heavy Clutch is next on the list. This add-on had a downside that limited its use a bit too strictly. It has been removed. Hopefully by mixing it with other perk add-ons, we'll see new Billy sprints that aren't possible without the add-on. So remove the chainsaw sprint staring downside, which is really good. Next, we have Iridescent Brick, and it says, after maintaining a chainsaw sprint for 2 seconds, gain the undetectable status effect until you stop sprinting, which is pretty good. So they said the Iridescent Brick used to start the undetectable status timer after 5 seconds of a chainsaw sprint. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean you were undetectable after 5 seconds. It meant the transition between undetectable started. So this is going to be pretty good. Next on the list is Tuned Carburetor. Love to see it. The downside of moving at 4.4 requires something fairly strong to make up for it. In that sense, the previous decrease in charge was barely noticeable. We've increased it to make the add-on appealing. Moderately decreased chainsaw charge time from 20 to 12. And then next up, we have Speed Limiter, will grant you 100%, and they've updated the rarity to common from uncommon. Ladies and gentlemen, those are all of the changes that we received for Hillbilly and Leatherface, and here are all of the bug changes. I won't really focus too much on the bug changes because there are, a lot of things. We got some issues out with the Demogorgon, so we fixed those, or they fixed them. I say we as if I did it. Fixed an issue with overly bright lights on indoor maps. You guys know those really bright lamps. Fixed an issue causing blood droplets to sometimes remain on the Executioner's cage. I witnessed this bug myself. They fixed an issue with the rates add-ons, and Hillbilly's changed that through the treatment tailor map. And those are pretty much all of the changes that we received. Not too bad. Very excited for all of the things to be into the game, and now we'll have way more balancing for Leatherface and Hillbilly. Let me know what you guys think about these changes. Go ahead, try them out. Tell me what you guys think about them. As always, I'm the King. I tip my crown to you guys. I'm going fishing now, so I'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day. Stay healthy and safe, and we'll see you all in the fall.